they're kind of running behind each other as Marc and Steven, and that comes off so easy, but the technical challenges were considerable.
Well, congratulations on the Moon Knight. I was watching it again because I watched it 4 weeks ago, so I had to do a recap. And it's just beautiful the way it's shot. You know, you have a lot of like warm colors. So how do you come in, because you directed episode 2 and 4, correct? Or not? You did the cinematography for 2 and 4, correct?
Yeah.
So when you come in, how do you follow the same aesthetic set for the whole series? Because it's different cinematographers and directors coming in.
Yeah, I mean, Greg Middleton was the other DP, and you know, we early, before any shooting had commenced, had lots of conversations about the style of the show, and how we might like it to look, and what are the things that we aspire to do here, and how can we position ourselves against other shows that maybe even that Marvel's done. And I have to say compliments to Greg for being so open and so giving in those conversations, and allowing me to have a voice, and that my input was welcomed, and that, you know, he really it could have been a very different conversation. So I'm very thankful for that.
Now, this show is very tricky because he's talking to himself in reflective surfaces, right? So was that a big challenge for this?
Huge challenge. I mean, technically in all ways, just it's so hard. And you know, Oscar is such a great performer, and anytime we could do it, it was always so fun. And you know, the challenge for me technically was how to achieve it, and how to make it interesting over the course of the show, and not to keep repeating ourselves of him just always talking to himself in the mirror. But what are other places we can do it? How can we do it naturally and make it feel off the cuff? Like there's a one in episode 4 where he's walking on some stones and going over some water, and just to tilt down quickly to tag Marc and to tilt back up to go back to Steven. I was so glad that we could build in really quick ones like that without, oh, I'm going to go talk to myself now, I'm going to go stand in front of this mirror for a little while, you know, and we could build it in.
Yeah, that's what's so cool about this series. For, you know, film fans, you're like, that's so cool. Like, how'd they do that? You know?
Each one was different. I'll tell you, it's like such a challenge. Each one was very different. And if the camera was moving, the challenges were multiplied. To be able to make the camera move and to do some of those things was really hard. And I'm glad people like it, and it's doesn't feel fake. And I think it's a lot of that's testament to Oscar, who just performed so well in both sides of those conversations.
Yeah, in episode 2, he's in the storage unit, and it's all reflective surfaces all around. And I'm like, how do they hide the lights?
Exactly.
Do you light from above in those cases?
Yeah, light from above. And you know, there's an instance even in a few times in those scenes where a camera operator probably had to get painted out, where the camera operator would have seen himself, but there's no place to hide. So you just go for it, and then VFX can do some erasure later by, you know, the magic that they do.
Right. And then episode 4, we have the cool kind of Indiana Jones adventure, and they have some elements of horror in there. And then we go to an entirely different setting, all white, which is another, I'm assuming it's another hassle when you're dealing with all white surfaces, right? Is that because they're reflective as well?
Yeah. And also you want to give them shape, and you want to give contrast, because you want to direct people's eye. I mean, it's like a very fundamental challenge of cinematography, is making sure your eye is going to where you want the viewer to go. And when something is all white and there's no shadow, it's harder. But you know, you can add little nuance in there and variations of white. How cool can white get, or how warm can white get? And so just kind of peppering in little stuff like that to direct our eye. But that's one of the things I loved about the show, you know, and that I like shooting, is that I got to do so many different things. I got to make a fake Indiana Jones kind of inspired show, got to do very horror-like things in these tombs. And then, you know, the mental hospital, and shooting in places like Jordan deserts. And I mean, it was like a genre hopping and location hopping show. It was really fun for me.
And I'm always curious, this is happening a lot, especially in TV shows where you have the same person side by side. The flight attendant just did it too. So how do you shoot for that? Do you have, because I know his brother was kind of a stand-in. He would talk to his brother as if he were himself. So how do you shoot that? I mean, it seems kind of tricky because you have to set it up a certain way.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's really simple ways to do it. And the easiest way to do it probably is to just have your camera not move. And to have them never cross each other. That's the easiest way, because you split the camera, you split the frame right down the middle. This is one take is on one side of the camera, another take is on the other, on the frame. And that's the easiest, simplest way. But then when they start to interact, it becomes a whole thing. And then another layer is, if the camera moves, the camera has to repeat the exact same move or it won't work properly. So there's a bunch of technology like a techno dolly that can record a camera move, and then he can change characters. And it gets very, very technical, and it can get crazier than that. And it works best, I feel like, when you don't even think about it. And there's a great one at the end of episode 4 when he's running down the hallway and they're kind of running behind each other as Marc and Steven, and that comes off so easy, but the technical challenges were considerable.